I think we all need to stop and just admire this monitor for a second. I mean, seriously, this thing is amazing. Stick around to find out more about why it's so amazing, but basically, you want this. Check out our website at TechteamGB.co.uk for more info on both this and many other products, and also up-to-date news on all things tech. Stick around for this awesome video. So as I said, this is a pretty awesome monitor. Now it's technically 34 inches, and while it is diagonally measured 34 inches, it is ultra wide, so it's not as tall as an average 34-inch monitor would be. In terms of kind of maneuverability, you've got 110mm of height adjust, as well as a rather kind of extreme 35 to -5 degrees of tilt, which is pretty awesome. In terms of rotation, as you can see, that's not really possible due to the stand. Also, just to mention some of the styling features, you've got some pretty cool looking underglow LEDs, and while the panel isn't the thinnest, obviously with the curve making it a bit thicker, at least in terms of sort of depth anyway, with around about 2 degrees of sort of curvature to it, and it's certainly not light either. You do get a rather nice, obviously, stand, but obviously the carrying handle on the back as well. As I said, the stand does look pretty awesome. It does actually take up quite a lot of space on the desk. It's not the most kind of user-friendly as such, but it definitely does look the part. Also, the back is very glossy plastic, so it's a massive fingerprint magnet. But in terms of the kind of basic compatibility, if you did want to hook this up to a monitor arm or put it on the wall, for example, it actually comes with a VESA mount pre-included, which is pretty awesome. In terms of rear I/O, you've got an MHL, HDMI 2.0 and a standard HDMI 2.0 port, MIDI DisplayPort in, and surprisingly DisplayPort out if you want to do a pass-through, DCN for the power brick, headphone sort of jack, as well as Kensington lock, and a pretty cool 4-port USB 3 hub. In terms of the rest of the monitor, you do have buttons for the menu system, which actually, for me personally, I've checked out a lot of different sort of menu systems, and this one was probably the most kind of strange to use, as there are obviously a relatively limited amount of menu buttons, although everything seemed to be fairly well laid out. One of the really interesting features was you're able to actually have two sort of incoming streams at the same time. So if you want to have your monitor or your PC as well as your console running at the same time, for example, on one monitor, that is certainly a possibility. Now, gaming on this is really awesome, especially if you're in like things like racing games in cockpit view, as you do get that extra bit of space around you and a bit more of a sort of spatial awareness, but also you get really a lot more immersed in the experience of gaming, and including the curve just makes it a really awesome experience. I was playing Far Cry 4 for quite a while, and it was incredibly enjoyable, especially that extra bit of space meant that things that wouldn't have normally seen caught my eye sort of out of the corner of my eye, and it was generally just a very immersive, very awesome and very fun gaming experience. I can definitely recommend this. So to say this monitor is amazing is a massive understatement. This, when I previously said that this was the best gaming experience I've ever had, the last time those words came out of my mouth were probably on the BenQ XL2730Z video, which was 1440p FreeSync with a Fury X. And those words mean nothing now. This is honestly, I'm pulling a Linus here, but this is honestly the best monitor I have ever reviewed, or even just seen in general. This is 21:9, which, by the way, I never thought was going to be a thing. I actually didn't expect 21:9 to be anywhere near as good as it actually is until this thing actually turned up a couple of days ago. It's so fantastic. Normally with things like 4K and 1440p, you generally just get more detail in what you would normally see, but with 21:9, you genuinely get to see more than you normally would. It's kind of like running an Infinity setup, but without the kind of edges and the weird kind of stretching that you always see on the other screen. So it is honestly a fantastic monitor, and I understand that the biggest concern with this monitor is the price, and no matter where you are in the world, if you're in Australia where your prices are already 5 billion times higher than everyone else's, either way, it's still ridiculously expensive, and I know that you probably want to make sure that this is the best monitor you can possibly get, but I have to say it is. Honestly, the actual panel itself is IPS. It can be overclocked, I believe, up to 100 Hz, but mine was at 75. It's got AMD's FreeSync, so obviously you're going to be running an AMD graphics card, although I believe there is a G-Sync version of this, so feel free to check that one out too. But this, the FreeSync range is 30 Hz to 75, or possibly even 100, so 30 hertz, anywhere from 30 FPS to 70 or 100 FPS is going to be buttery smooth gameplay experience. And as I said, the actual panel is IPS, which means you get great color accuracy, great viewing angles, and in terms of the actual panel itself on my unit, I didn't see any backlight bleed, so it was just a beautiful thing to look at. It's curved as well, which means the actual experience is ridiculously immersive, and I found myself literally playing Far Cry 4 for a few hours without actually noticing that I played it for a few hours. I just got sucked in. I only wanted to do a quick test and it happened, and I've lost a couple hours, but I don't think I'd consider them lost. I'd consider them well used, because that was awesome. But yeah, obviously the main thing is the price, but even things like the I/O is insanely awesome. If you don't have full-size DisplayPort cable, you can use mini DisplayPort. If you want to pass through your DisplayPort cable connection to another monitor, it's got DisplayPort out. You've got an awesome 4-port USB 3 hub, and obviously audio out as well. It's not the thinnest monitor on the wall, but the stand is awesome. It's insanely cool looking, and the overall monitor is one of the in fact possibly the sexiest monitor I've looked at. I mean, if I was going to set up a just a gaming test bench or gaming sort of setup, the Phanteks N2 Evolve ACX case and this monitor are the two sexiest pieces of hardware that I would have to have in that setup. I guess that's kind of the pros and cons, by the way. It's really expensive, but it's freaking awesome. And yeah, in terms of sort of scoring, I think even though it's ridiculously expensive, it has to be a 4 because it's genuinely one of the best monitors, if not the best monitor I've reviewed, period, full stop, whatever you want to say. In terms of performance, it has to be a 5. It's fantastic. Functionality is amazing. Obviously, FreeSync. Generally, the HDMI 2.0 and HDMI 2.0 MHL is quite nice as well. The fact that it's curved, IPS, overclockable, 75 hertz, just so amazing. And it's the UHD version of 21:9, so it's 3840 by 1440. It's just fantastic. Styling, as I said, it's one of the sexiest monitors and generally pieces of tech out at the moment, I think, anyway. So that's going to be a 5. TechteamGB score is going to be a 5 because, well, if you can't tell, I love it. And yeah, in terms of award, it's going to be a 5. It's going to be a top tier award because, goddamn, this is amazing. So yeah, I guess that's kind of it. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And actually, I'd like to know, do you think there is any monitor that is better than this? Let me know in the comments down below and I'll be sure to argue with you quite furiously. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe. By the way, before you disappear, it'd be really awesome if you are planning on picking this or any other monitor or any other anything on Amazon. It'd be really awesome if you use my Amazon affiliate links in the description down below. It's literally helping me to keep the lights and the kind of roof over my head kind of there. So yeah, please do that. Other than that, check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm sure we've got an awesome giveaway going on, so go check that one out too. I'm sure I'll be posting about that on Facebook and Twitter as well. So yeah, other than that, I'll shut up, leave you to enjoy the beauty shots of the monitor from earlier, and other than that, we'll see you all in the next video.